Hey y'all, welcome back to Unapologetic Podcast. This is your girl Maya and I am back again. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Whew, listen y'all, I was supposed to take a little break between season 1 and season 2. I was supposed to come back with season 2 and it was just going to be up from there, right? I think I only put out 1 or 2 episodes, if that, for season 2. Life has been lifing and is currently still, still going through the process. But I just really wanted to make sure that I can give my energy and my time to the recording process because it does take a lot. But I do respect and appreciate everyone who has asked me, like, what's going on with your podcast? Didn't you have a podcast? When you gonna let me be on the episode? And I'm just like, hold on. I'm coming back. Just give me a little bit of time. I will be back. And here I am. So over the last couple of months, I've been tapping more into self-development and learning myself more and my triggers and understanding certain aspects of myself as I am maturing and I am getting older. I'm learning to just let things be. I've been on this healing journey for the past 1.5 years, almost 2 years. If it hasn't been 2 years already, it's very close to being 2 years. So I'm just learning to heal properly. Self-love is very, 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 very important, especially when you get out of any type of relationship. If you lose someone, it's very important to put yourself first, even if that means just setting boundaries with certain people, putting your happiness first. So you make sure that you're taken care of, because if you don't have you, who really gonna have you? So I just been tapping more into myself, understanding myself more. And it just all ties into mental health and just taking time for you. Self-care is so important. I am so big on self-care. But today's topic, we're actually gonna be talking about mental health. Okay. It's interesting because I know growing up, from what I can remember, people didn't really talk about mental health in the Black community. It was just like you deal with what you deal with, and you go through what you go through, and you put your big girl panties on, or your big boy boxers on, and you keep it pushing. Like you don't cry, you don't dwell on, you don't cry over spilled milk. And in most times it's like, okay, you don't want to harp on everything. You really don't want to give too much of your energy into the wrong things or the wrong person. It's funny because I know a couple of years ago I met someone, and I don't know how the conversation came about, but we were sitting there talking, we were chilling, smoking, having a couple of drinks, and we was just sitting there vibing, and the topic or the conversation about me going to therapy when I was 12 came about. And I guess based off of what I was saying, of what I've been through during my childhood and teenage years and early adult, this guy literally told me, like, well, at least you were able to, get help and go to therapy because now you're going to get the opportunity. And I understand that part. I completely understand that part of it, that not everyone has insurance. has the ability to go to therapy or whatever. But then what he told me was, your problems are not, it was never even that serious or that deep for you to have gone therapy. Like, your problems or your trauma wasn't therapy worthy. I know a girl who been through way worse and all this, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, okay. And I didn't know when he made the first statement about my trauma not being therapy worthy, it was kind of like, hold the fuck up. What are you talking about? And then as he talked more, because I understood the first part when he said, at least you were able to get help. Then I'm like, yeah, true. Then he goes on to talk about it's not therapy worthy. Whoa. Okay. Then he goes on to say, I know a girl who's been through way worse. And it's always going to be someone in the world that, whether you know them or not, that goes through, they go through shit. It may be worse than yours. It may not be worse than yours. But how can you determine what is worse and what is not? Like, because my trauma is my trauma. Their trauma is their trauma. How they handle it is how they handle it. How I handle it is how I handle it. I may look at it and say, and I don't think I would downplay someone else's trauma because that's their experience. That is what they are going through. Who am I to judge and say, man, you could have handled that? Like, you ain't need to go to therapy for that. That's not mental health because it wasn't even that serious. But who are you to tell me that anything that I have gone through wasn't therapy worthy? Or how can you tell me that it wasn't serious, that what I went through wouldn't have caused depression? How can you tell me that what I've gone through wouldn't cause any type of PTSD? How can you determine that if you are not even licensed or taken if you haven't even taken a training or a class or anything related to what the fuck I am talking about? And it blew me because I'm like, dang, is this what people really think when people talk about mental health? And when you hear about people committing suicide, it's like, dang, they took their life. It wasn't even that serious. They could have handled it. And it's like, you cannot tell someone how to handle their trauma. They did what they felt is best. Like when I see these stories about teenagers, or one recent story I saw is about this dude. I guess he was sleeping with transgender women. He was on the down low, right? Down low meaning he didn't want anyone to know. And he got outed. And what did he do? Commit suicide. And I think that's buck wild to me too, because it's like, damn, if I wanted the world to know, or if I wanted my friends and my family to know, or if I wanted the whole social media platforms to know that I was gay, or I was on the down low, bisexual, or just, what is it, asexual, when I guess you just don't even have a gender, you just like humans. I don't even know what it's called. But if I wanted people to know, then I would have announced that myself. And, you read the comments and you see people say, oh, it wasn't that serious. It's a people that's gay in the world. He wouldn't be the only one. It's like, damn, you you can't even get someone to truly feel bad because everyone has an opinion on what you should have done versus what you did do. And it's like, man, end of the day, the moral of the story is you cannot tell people how to handle their trauma, their PTSD. Just like, I walk, I make sure that when I'm out, I make sure that I'm good. And good, if you know what good means, then you know what good means. But I'm not, and that's just for me to feel okay. It may not be for everybody. Some people may say, "Oh, it's not that serious. You only go in here. It doesn't matter." So I can feel good. I gotta make sure I'm good, right? I just had to get that off my chest because I'm like, people and they don't understand. People who do not understand mental health have no idea the type of energy it takes away from you when you are battling depression, schizophrenia. Anxiety is the worst. I have bad anxiety. And I mean, there's ways to handle it, so I don't allow it to hinder me. But people don't understand, when people have, especially social anxiety. Oh, that's because you don't do this, but it's because you don't do that. It's like, no, it's because I choose not to, because my anxiety is bad. In certain environments, my anxiety is terrible. I have never been to a concert before because of my anxiety. I am extremely terrified about going to a concert, only because so many people in just one place. Okay, then you hear these stories about people getting trampled. Black Friday shopping, I do not go because people get trampled. I mean, it's a little better. It has gotten better over the last couple of years, but even it was a few years ago, there was like this big brawl out at one of the malls where I'm at. And it's like, dang, you can't even go shopping. The day after Christmas, you can't even go shopping because you have these kids in the mall. They're starting fights. This old lady got like trampled over. It was just terrible. It was terrible. And things like that, whenever it's a large gathering, or if I know it's going to be like right after the holidays, count me out. I'm good. I can go to the store on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday, but I would not be I would not be at the stores the day after the holidays. No ma'am, no sir. It's just not for me, right? But my message that I want to send to anyone who is battling some type of mental illness, someone who is battling some mental health problems currently, this is my message to you. Do not feel ashamed to go to therapy. Just because you go to therapy does not mean that you're crazy or weird, like I have heard plenty of times before. Therapy is just an outlet for you. It's an outlet to express yourself freely, say things that you cannot say to a close friend or a relative just because you may feel like, dang, I don't want this person in my business, or you may feel how I felt when I confided in one of my friends and they shut me down and told me that my trauma wasn't therapy worthy, or passing judgment on me because what I went through wasn't that serious. And how I should be grateful for certain aspects of, the way things turned out for me. You may not, if you're having a problem with a friend or a family member, you don't want to risk telling someone that's close to you in fear that they may go and tell that person that you're having an issue with. So therapy is just a safe space for you to just let it all out. You find tools to help you. If you have depression, anxiety, or whatever, you can go to therapy and find, like I said, methods to help you cope with certain things and allow you to take breathing, practice on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. You can woosah if you need to. If you have anger management, therapy is good. Therapy is healthy for you. Therapy is the shit, okay? I love therapy. Like, I love therapy. And I know my journey with therapy started when I was 12. About 11, 12 years old. So I've been going to therapy on and off for over, wow, dang, when I say this out loud, I feel old. For over 15 years, I've been going to therapy. So, with that being said, don't be ashamed. Don't feel weird. Do not allow what people say or tell you about therapy dictate you or steer you away from going to therapy, because it's healthy for you. It's good for you. It's okay to release that energy. That's just the end of what I have to say about mental health therapy. Just because, and another side note, just because you have anxiety or depression does not mean that you're going to be prescribed medication. That doesn't mean that, okay? That's what people also think about therapy. Oh, you're on medicine. You got to be on medicine because you got anxiety or you got depression, or, I have situational depression where I go through certain things that, or I may go through something I went through in the past. It's almost like PTSD. Something that I've gone through in the past, and say if it happens currently, but not, it's kind of similar. The two situations are similar. They can kind of put me in a depressive state around a certain time of the year. I can start feeling depressed. I may shut down. So just because you have those ups and downs throughout the year or around certain holidays or whatever have you, does not mean that you will be put on medication. Medication is an option. If you like to smoke, you can smoke. I'm just trying to think of other things because, it's natural. And it helps with anxiety. I tell you that much. But yeah, so just make sure y'all follow me on all socials. Thank you for tapping into Unapologetic Podcast. Hit me up. Give me some topic suggestions. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Later.